welcome back to Just Ask Mrs. Hurlbut, episode 17. Our topic today is keep the faith. So you're probably wondering what that's all about. I actually chose this topic. A lot of kids are leaving home, heading to school, starting out on their own, and a lot of you all grew up with some sort of faith background. Whatever that faith background is, up until now you probably have done whatever your parents have told you to do. And now you're on your own. So what do you do? Or what if you never practiced a faith and suddenly something's interesting to you? Or what if you're questioning your faith? That's where we're headed today. So, sorry. Hi, Lucy.
Hi, Mom. Still here.
My team, we're here. Lucy, am I allowed to ask you how did your faith journey continue or not after you graduated high school? Because you didn't, that's the other thing I was gonna say. I grew up Catholic and I went to a Catholic college. So it was really easy for me not only to stay, but to grow in my faith, which I did. But I didn't have that, couldn't afford to do that for my 5 children. So they all graduated from public institutions, which were phenomenal. Yeah. But their faith wasn't readily handed to them. So tell me your story.
Well, you raised us all Catholic, and I think you always made it very known that we were allowed to question, that you didn't want us to blindly believe, but that you wanted us, it was important that you wanted us to have faith. So I think in high school I had I have questions, but it was never, I don't like this anymore. Mm-hmm. So I think when you have that rooted in you already, and I'm not saying that just because your parents do it, I think that I'm more rooted in it maybe than even some of your other children.
Oh, I totally agree.
So it's it's not necessarily just because it's passed down. I think that once you feel that root, in you, it's still good to question it. So I think I questioned it in high school, but I was still so surrounded by it. And then I will say my first day at my college was my first day of my entire life not attending a religion course. That was...
Or being in a Catholic school.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so...
I always say that to my students, their last day of school, and this is it. This is the last... Yeah. For many of you, it's the last theology class you'll ever take.
So I think I took advantage of... And not to go off on a tangent, but I think this is really beneficial for anyone going off to college. I think I took advantage of taking a break from it from a second, of taking a break from what other people were telling me that it was. Because it gave me time to think okay, what parts of it do I miss?
Interesting.
And there was things that pulled me back in. I missed talking about it. I missed learning more about it. I didn't miss the routine of a lot of stuff. I didn't miss being told when and how many times I had to go to mass, or to be honest with you, and you know this, that it had to be a Catholic every time.
Of course.
Because now as an adult, I go to a lot of Christian churches, but I also will go to mass with you and my dad. So it's I didn't have the opportunity to explore that until I went to college, not because you guys didn't tell me I could, but because it just was laid up for me.
Didn't present itself until then.
So I would say that my journey was definitely taking a break from it, because I think that if you grew up in it, taking a break from it does let you kind of personalize.
Well, and it becomes more relational. Yeah. Between you and God, and less about what has been spoon-fed to you and how you've been handheld all these years. Awesome. Well, thank you for that. Let's start that first question, shall we?
Okay. Well, I kind of just answered it.
Oh, no.
How do I make my faith my own instead of just inheriting it from my parents?
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Okay. How do you make it your own? First of all, and I've said this to you, and I'll say it again, question everything. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with questioning or doubting. That is a faith journey. The people who don't question and don't doubt, they're at a standstill. So when we question and we doubt, we tend to explore. So what I would do, depending on where you go to school, if you're moving from one faith-based school to another faith-based school, you're gonna have to work a little bit harder to separate yourself or try new things. But if you're doing what Lucy did, you kind of, the world is your oyster, and getting to know other people. They're not all going to be Catholic, like so many of them were in high school. Even when I went to college, I went to a Catholic high school. I went Catholic elementary school, Catholic high school, and a Catholic college. But when I got to college, my parents were nowhere to be found to say, you need to meet us at 5:30 Mass. We need to go to reconciliation. We need to sit in the church on Good Friday for 3 hours. Like, I did that until I was 18 because that's what I was expected to do. And I went to a very Catholic school, and it was so fun for me to just explore my faith.
You get to customize it. Like,
yeah, and I discovered a whole new way of worship with these amazing youth masses, and I got myself very involved very quickly in liturgy and music ministry. And I would meet once a week with the sister who was my music coordinator, and the priest who would help guide us through our music selections so that we would know exactly what the Mass was about. I loved it so much that I thought I was having a calling, which was hilarious because the Sister Betty would laugh at me. She's like, relax, because I was already in love with your father. She's like, you're good. Don't worry. You might be getting a calling, but it doesn't have to be being a sister. So I even discovered a whole new world of faith, and my relationship with God blossomed. Suddenly I didn't have my parents between me and him, which was remarkable. But having said that, there are many people who grew up with their parents requiring them to do X, Y, and Z with regard to their faith and the rituals, who go the other direction.
Yeah.
And so if you're struggling, go ahead and struggle, but allow yourself to explore. Don't give up on it. Just explore. Try other faith traditions. Try other places of worship, even if it's the same faith practice.
I think that's huge.
I mean, you just go to a different building and everything changes. It's a totally different experience. So be open to it. Try to take away the good that you had when you were young, even though it was forced on you. If you go to a public institution, there's something called the Newman Center, which I teach about, named after Cardinal Newman, and it's basically it's a small, tight-knit Catholic community in the middle of this huge public institution, and it's a chance for Catholics to find Catholics and to grow in their faith in ways that they didn't when they were at home. Those sacraments that you receive at your Newman Center are very different than when you're at home. It's much more intimate. It's much more relaxed. You can wear your sweats. You can have your candlelight mass, and everybody goes out for coffee afterwards. There's so many beautiful things about it. In fact, I may have to put a Newman Center plug a link in our caption, because I've had many of my students, my graduates, contact me after they graduate and say, I found my Newman Center. It was a game changer. It's the reason I'm still here.
Yeah.
And didn't transfer out of my school, because I went to this massive university and I wasn't meeting anybody and I wasn't able to find my way. But I learned about the Newman Center in Mrs. Hurlbut's class, and I went there. I didn't even go there for the faith formation. I went for the community. And then the byproduct was that I grew stronger in my faith. So there's a lot of different ways that you can explore. I would suggest, unless you had a horrible experience, that you give it another try, or try something similar.
Yeah, I wouldn't go extreme and swap. Like, I grew up in the Catholic Church, and the first thing I did on my own was go to my Newman Center, but I didn't do that until my junior year of college.
With me, right? During COVID?
I think I went once before you, and then went with you, and then I think I went a few more times after. But again, like I said, like, those I mean, COVID happened during my second year, so I was back home. But during that first year and a half, it was like I just really felt like it was my time to kind of take out the outside influences and just see what called towards me in the moments that I felt like it was calling towards me.
Right.
And my junior year in Arizona was my hardest, I would say. And I think that was the last time, that was like my last moment where you had said like you should just try and go. And I went. I didn't find community in it. I didn't talk to people while I was there or anything like that. And I think that that's also okay. It was kind of my one place to not do that.
Right.
To just connect with God and not connect with other individuals.
And that's fine too. I wouldn't give up on it. I'd also urge any of you who've had bad experiences, especially, I can only really speak for the Catholic faith, but there's a lot of misinformation out there. I know that because I teach it and I have a lot of students who say, but doesn't the church say X, Y, and Z? And I'll say, no.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what the church actually says. And the church has evolved. There's a lot of things that people know to be true about the Catholic Church 20 years ago that have evolved and things have changed. So try not to get yourself caught up in what you think is truth. Educate yourself, inform yourself on what it means to practice whatever faith it is. The fact of the matter is, if we're talking about the Holy Trinity, we're talking about love, period. Love and belonging and zero judgment.
Yeah.
And that's all I'll say on that. Let's go to the next one.
Okay. What if I start to doubt parts of what I believe? Is that bad?
Nope.
Next question, I'm kidding.
Next. No, it's not bad at all. I would definitely suggest that when you do doubt, you spark up a conversation with somebody, whether it's a peer or an adult or a minister. Have a conversation so that you can maybe get some clarity and some answers. It's one thing to doubt, but there's no growth or learning if you're not expressing those doubts with somebody. Even just sitting around with your friends, you can't imagine how many learning opportunities there are in that conversation. So yeah, I would definitely say, sorry, I always forget the question.
To not to doubt it, but to
go ahead and doubt it. Go ahead and question it, but talk to somebody about it. It's so important. Otherwise, the doubts just fester in a circle.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I also would say talk about it, but I would purposely talk about it with people that might bring you back and people that might have other opinions.
Get both
because
sides,
I think that when you doubt it and just go back to what you know is gonna reinforce it, that continues kind of the blind. It's like you want to hear from both sides and you'll feel which one you connect. Like you will physically feel which answer, which opinions you felt closer to. And that will, every time you talk to someone different, that will keep leading you closer to what you believe in and not just what everyone else believes in.
Right. You got it. It's your journey. It's not anybody else's journey but yours. So you kind of have to navigate it.
Well, this actually leads perfectly. What if my beliefs differ from my new friends? How do I talk about it?
Well, like I always say, if you found yourself some really good friends, it can actually be beautiful. You can compare. You can welcome them into your faith. They can welcome you into their faith. Chances are you're going to meet people of different faith. Mm-hmm. You'll probably meet some agnostic. You'll have some agnostic or some atheist friends. Fine. Nothing wrong with that. As long as you all respect each other's beliefs and you share them in a way that only leads to growth. Listen, I teach agnostic students and atheists and students of many different faith traditions. Even though we're a Catholic school, most Catholic schools, at least where I live, are mostly about 50% Catholic, and even those aren't all practicing. So I say that bring it. You guys have so much to offer. When we talk about rituals and traditions and family dynamics, when we talk about scripture, I learn so much from these students. And my atheist students, man, they love to challenge me. And I'm like, bring it. Bring it. I hear you. I understand where you're coming from. I'm not going to tell you what to do, what to think, what to believe. I'm just going to make sure you're informed on what I'm teaching so that your decisions aren't coming from ignorance, aren't coming from misinformation, but you've got the facts in front of you.
Yeah.
So I think that a really good friendship, there's going to be diversity, and I think you should embrace it and use it as a learning opportunity.
I will say the stronger you feel in your faith and the more confident you feel in it, talking about it with people that don't know about it or don't agree with it is one of my favorite things to talk about. And I feel like I'm allowed to say this, my best friend on planet Earth does not participate or belong to any sort of religion and disagrees with it a lot of the times. She's never ever not supported me and my beliefs, and she'll even bring me back to my beliefs because she knows that it's what I believe and she supports me in that, even though it's not what helps her get through her day.
Right. And that's a beautiful friendship. And I would say, I think it's okay for me to say that she's probably taken away some little nuggets of comfort from hanging out with you.
Yeah.
And you living your faith.
Yeah.
Even if it's not something that she believes.
Yeah, and just our family. I mean, she takes away a lot of the values and morals, which I think a lot of people do. They just have a hard time with the unknown of it. Yeah, and the unknown of all.
Yeah, but that's what faith
exactly
is. I'm so glad you said that, because faith, the beauty of faith is the mystery, right? This idea that we're putting all of our eggs in this basket, and we have scripture, and we have stories and tradition and miracles. We have the sacraments, right? We have all that. But in the end, we have to really, really trust that this is real. And that's a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people, especially your generation who needs concrete evidence.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I ever say to that is like, and you guys used to say it to me when I was younger and I never understood it, is like, there will be a moment in your life that you have concrete evidence, but you are the only one that knows it.
Yeah.
Like you have a moment that you're like, I would not have made it through that. I would not have gotten through that if it weren't for him. But you can't physically prove that to someone else.
No, I see it as God's grace for sure.
Yeah.
And if you watch an episode coming up with Grandma and Papa, you will see that was the center of everything for them, as it is for me. I don't know what I would do without it. I teach prayer to my students. I teach them how to pray. And I always say, prayer is it's a two-way street. We spend a couple of minutes talking about the way we pray, as whether it's Thanksgiving or reconciliation or intercession, whatever it might be. That's great. You've done your part. Now you got to turn the tables and you got to listen.
Yeah.
And then they're looking like, what do you mean listen?
That's such a hard
This is the challenge, is to step out of your comfort zone, out of your five senses, and listen with your heart in a way that you suddenly go, oh, so I should look for the answers elsewhere. Yeah. So someone will give me a scenario. I'll go, did you ever think that person that was with you, that delivered that message to you, or that offered you that opportunity, that was God working through them? You've got to be open to that. And I think that's a lot of what faith is opening your eyes to the possibilities. And I think if you're somebody who's very black and white, it's a struggle to find. Or if you're a person who's had a lot of heartache in your life, and you're like, where was God in that moment? Where was God in that moment? And in my reality, God was carrying you through that moment.
That's why you made it through all of it.
Right. God's not there to fix things or to save you from misery and from suffering. The suffering is us being like God, being like Christ in our suffering, and He's there in those dark moments, carrying you through and getting you to the other side. I hear that all the time. Why? Why did God allow this? Why does God allow that? That's not his role. Free will is stepping in the way of so many things. God's role is to lift us up and carry us through that, and it's up to us to recognize that. So let's go to the next question, because I think I probably got all off tangent. Or what? It's going to be that?
No.
Or are you going to tell me that was the next question?
Can I be a part of a faith community even if I'm not sure what I believe yet?
Yes, and you should.
I think it's a great way to figure out what you believe.
That's part of your exposure. I know so many people, including you, who try things out. And sometimes they like it, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
And sometimes they come back to what they know, sometimes they don't.
Like just to give an example, I grew up going to Catholic church, and now as an adult, I primarily attend Christian churches. So I don't feel like I'm taken away, but I get more out of it. I feel more connected. I relate more. I'm able to fuel that fire in me more in that
environment.
Yeah. So it's just.
But if we were able to have that kind of energy, which I'm assuming is a youthful energy with beautiful music and a great spirit of young folks, if you were able to channel that, which many Catholic parishes across the country have that. Unfortunately, you may or may not have experienced that in our local area where I shouldn't say that, because we have some churches that have been at certain times been at their absolute best. But if you were to take all that and put it into your Catholic church, would you be as drawn to that? Possibly.
Yeah.
But then that brings up the question of when you go to worship. Is it our job to receive the word, to receive the Eucharist? Or is it also our job to bring to it an open heart so that we can then go out and be disciples? You know what I mean? I think a lot of us get disillusioned by what we're not receiving. Yes, we're absolutely receiving the Eucharist. That's the center of the Mass. But maybe we need to bring more. That's all I'm saying. Just a thought. Maybe we need to bring more, instead of saying, well, I'm not going there because that homily or that sermon is never up to speed, but I'll drive 5 miles out of my way to that church because that priest I know is going to hit the homily out of the park. And then I ask myself, is that the way I should be doing it?
Yeah,
what can I bring?
Yeah, I get that. I do think that if we're bringing this back to someone that's just figuring it out, drive the extra 5 miles. Once you're already in it, and like someone like you, your job is spreading the word. And so that I get, going out of your way maybe to go somewhere where you need to bring more to the table. But for this person asking if they feel like they can be part of the faith community, even if they're not sure what they believe, if you find one place that you feel like you fit in and it isn't that convenient, I would still go to that one in the beginning of your journey. Yeah,
the answer for sure is yes, 1,000 times yes. In fact, the definition, I'm just teaching this right now, so it's very fresh in my brain. The definition of the Catholic liturgy is official, but it's public, open to everybody, and it's communal. It's meant to be for not just one person, but a crowd. So yes, all are welcome here, and all steeples point to the same heaven. So my hope is that you would always feel welcome and that you would give it a try. Yeah. Was that the last one?
That was the last one.
Oh, we're done. Well, thank you, Lucy.
Yeah.
We might bring this one back in maybe a little more specific detail, but keep the faith, everybody. Be open to try new things. Be okay with doubting. Be okay with questioning. Be kind to other people and respectful of their beliefs. And listen to each other, because you can learn a lot. So thanks. I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.